Season 6, Episode 21. Every little thing she does. And you can't help but want to call it, want to call it every little thing she does is magic. Because that's quite literally what she does. For a good portion of the episode. Every little thing that's done is done through magic.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't really a little thing.
Well, I mean, she uses it even for the little things. But
Yeah.
that's beside the point. One second, let me check what this is. Okay. Anyway, so tutoring Starlight on magic before she learns her friendship lessons seems a bit reckless. I mean, you may want to gate those things and say, okay, you go bake a cake with Pinkie Pie, and I'll teach you this spell. And we'll work on this spell. You go scrapbook with Applejack, we'll do this spell. You know, it's like somebody who has a history of smashing things with hammers. You're like, here's a new hammer smashing technique. And then we're going to teach you how not to smash things with why you shouldn't smash things with hammers all the time. Or the right things to smash with hammers. I mean, it seems a little reckless, but okay.
Well, everything's the right thing to smash with
a hammer. When all you have is a hammer, everything starts to look like a nail. Which in some ways reflects this episode.
Although, also, it could be whenever you're hammered, everything looks like a nail. But that's another story.
Yeah, they do look a little hungover after the fact. I mean, that's as close as I could say the post hypnotic kind of wake of that sort of thing. That post thing where they felt like they felt that way. It seemed very much similar to a hangover. But I'll get to that towards the end. But so we get teleportation is fun. Twilight finally worked out that transfiguration spell, and is now
I was about to mention that too. No more orange birds or no orange frogs.
Well, to some extent, that was also the fault of just being disturbed while she was trying to focus and accidentally doing that. But the more salient point is she's using it to create life. She turned an apple into eggs with chicks about to hatch. That's some pretty godlike powers. Though then again, at this point in time, she is essentially a demigod. I mean, all alicorns are basically demigods, so they can do things that shouldn't be done by mere mortals.
God, can you imagine if Starlight became an alicorn?
Well, in order to reach that status, she would have to, grow in such a way as to match the kind of insight and such as Twilight did. So by that point, it wouldn't be a problem that she was an alicorn, because in order to reach alicorn status, she would have to be good.
Yeah, like really good. She gives Twilight a run for her money.
In magic, not in friendship.
True.
Starlight goes rapid fire with the transfiguration spell. Does the whole, kind of blowing out the hot horn. It's always nice. That little.
Yeah.
But Then we get when up into the starlight throws a mighty shield. All opposed to shield. Oh, she has an almost kind of Captain America looking shield that she uses first when she's trying to defend from Twilight. She uses her little round shield, and then she uses kind of faceted jewel-shaped barrier, unlike Twilight's smooth sphere, which I figured the smooth sphere would be much stronger because curves tend to be strong. That's why they make arches that way. Than just the facets. The facets, they're weak points in that comparatively. But a sphere has no inherent weak points. Every point is as strong as any other because it's all on a
True.
sphere. Though possibly where her kind of beam to make the shield comes out of her horn, there might be some extra strength there, but from a engineering standpoint, the sphere is a superior shape for that. But the other problem with it is, unfortunately, it also has the side effect of an area effect rebound that destroys the library shelving. you know, so whatever damage it takes, it absorbs and releases later, which can be very. If you're in a it's one of those things from a tactical standpoint. If you're in the middle of all your enemies, you're surrounded completely by enemies. The rebound is fine because it's an area effect. Just wipe out my enemies with the powers they've been throwing at me. But if you're having to fight with friendly units in the area, that's not a good technique. Twilight's technique is so much better because it doesn't rebound. It just absorbs or deflects or kind of dissipates the power. Which brings up the question, why didn't you take that outside, Bookhorse? You're in a library. Would Bookhorse really do this sort of dangerous stuff that could, potentially hurt some books in the library? I mean, you could do it on the roof. You could do it in a barren kind of wasteland. There's enough kind of areas where nobody's really doing anything that you could do that with,
Considering she's the she has her own castle, and it's clearly TARDIS-like. Couldn't she design a room for magical training?
That would not surprise me. Or just, there's a billion rooms in there. Just pick one. Say, okay, this is a reasonably sized room that doesn't have anything in it. This is now the magic training room because...
Yeah, no priceless books in here.
Yeah, no priceless books. Nothing that can be damaged. We just bring in whatever we want to mess with. We study in the library. We practice in the practice room.
Exactly.
Unless,
and
unless it's really,
domination.
really simple spells, and it's they're not dangerous spells. If you're throwing around beams, then yes, absolutely. But I wouldn't be throwing around anything more than just a simple spell in there, just in case something hit a book.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, this is kind of the my analysis of Starlight for the episode, and kind of for what she's become. And I've said this on several occasions, but I think this episode really brings it to the surface. She's naturally gifted with magic. That's no doubt. But she uses it as a crutch to overcome her fear of failure and ultimately of rejection when it isn't necessary. Her fear of rejection manifests in wanting to impress Twilight. She wants to brute force her strength to cover her weakness, which the lessons are intended to remove. What Twilight is trying to do is, okay, your weakness is in friendship. You're not very good at that. Okay, let's do friendship lessons to remove that weakness. What Starlight does is, oh, I'm not very good at friendship. and knowing how to do that. So I'm going to try and brute force my strength, which is magic, into making the weak, into covering for how weak I am over here instead of trying to work on my weakness over here. That was her kind of initial way of dealing with this.
Yeah.
But I thought that was what I've been thinking about her for a while, and that's what they've been really harping on, especially with the Trixie episode and everything. Showing their friendship kind of happening, and that she does tend to run to magic when she's scared, because she knows that's her strong suit. Pinkie Pie goes full Lazy Town, but with intentionally different musical accompaniment. It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake, instead of it's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. If the way is hazy, such, and that song. But it was obvious they were trying to do that, but without having problems with copyright from that.
Yeah.
One thing
I have a question.
The only Lazy Town song I remember is
You Are a
the
Pirate.
brushing your teeth.
Oh, okay, brushing your teeth. I was thinking it would have been, you are a pirate, hi hi fiddly dee. A pirate is alright to be. Do what you want, 'cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
I got a question about
Vaguely
Starlight.
remember that.
What?
I got a question about Starlight, and it's more of kind of an opinion question. But would you say Starlight is kind of a Mary Sue?
She's got enough flaws. She's not like. She's got huge flaws, huge character flaws. Like what I was just talking about. She's incredibly insecure. She knows her magic, but otherwise, socially, she's incredibly insecure, and she overpowers others in order to try and, make herself, to avoid having to deal with her own weakness. She's got some problems.
And if she's a Mary Sue, then Twilight is definitely a Mary Sue.
Yeah, kind of, because she can do anything. She can turn her hoof to basically anything, and she's generally good. I mean, though she has her flaws too, though she had to grow out of her flaws for the most part. She still has her flaws, but they're much less than what they were in the beginning. In the beginning, she had some kind of glaring flaws, but she's supposed to, but she's had to earn her way past those flaws, or to really reduce the size of those flaws. But yeah, she does have the Mary Sue tendency of being incredibly powerful, and for just no apparent reason to begin with. Other than she's just naturally talented. But again,
Yeah.
she has flaws too. She's incredibly, and they're not, oh, she's too nice, or she's or she is too much of a good thing. No, she's got some serious issues with control and social issues. She's got some serious problems there, but there's some serious growth to do there as a character. But yeah, magic wise, yeah, she doesn't have she's really, really good. One thing, Applejack saying, well, we got 80 moons to scrapbook. How much is a moon? Is it a month? Is it a, is it a lunar month? Is that how you do that? Or what's a moon?
Probably. Probably like every time there's a full moon.
Okay, well, if it's, okay, let's see. 80 moons, so, let's see, 5 would be 60.
There are 13 moons in a year.
Okay, I'm just going. Okay, by lunar months. I'll just go by lunar months.
Wait, I thought Spike said
I'm trying to do math
moons.
here. Okay, so we have 5 months would be 60. 6 months would be 72. Wait, wait. Years. 6 years. 7 years. Be a little over 6 years, almost 7. Yeah, It would be.
Yeah.
It would be almost 7 years. Would be the scrapbooking she needs to do. Sorry.
It's not that. It's not that much.
Well,
you know?
wait. No, well, no, wait, that would be months. It would be 12, 7 lunar years.
It's
13
6 years,
six some
6.15 years, give or
Okay.
take.
Yeah, I was just doing it by 12 and okay, whatever. It's too
Well,
early
you
in the
have to
morning to be
think
doing that
there-
sort of stuff.
You have to keep into account there's one blue moon per year
Yeah.
at least. So average it about 13 moons per year. So
Yeah.
about 6 years.
Yeah. Anyway, somewhere around there. And so yeah, she has about 6 years worth of stuff. Oh. Yeah. And we get Rainbow Dash sees what Twilight sees because she tells them that that pony needs to chillax. It's probably Twilight's insight as well, saying it as a byproduct of the friendship thing. She's like, she needs to chill out. She needs to relax, learn how to relax a little bit. She doesn't know how to do that. She doesn't know how to do that well, and she also, I want to have her have some friendship time with Rainbow Dash. So this is a perfect combination here, where she can learn how to relax and she can learn how to, learn some more
Yeah,
about.
relax.
Chillax.
I'll get out the bongs.
No, bad Matrock, bad.
We all know that's what that smoke really was.
Anyway, we get Starlight going full anxiety attack. The problems with coordinating so much activity, so many different varied activities. She doesn't quite have Twilight's knack for bureaucracy. Twilight's got a knack for bureaucracy. It's like, no, you do this, and you do that, and you do this, and then I'll do that, and then I'll do this. And planning, she's a planner. She's a schemer.
Yeah, but as Spike said, she has mastered the art of the freakout.
Yes, that too, but that's only after her carefully constructed plans have been ripped asunder by something throwing a spanner into the works. She's having problems just getting to her plan to do this stuff. But
The best laid plans of alicorns and ponies.
yeah. Let's see. But her reflex to turn to magic whenever she's in doubt kicks in, and she resorts to mind control and then rationalizes it as okay, because every pony wins. I think she also said that in her first appearance. I don't remember which episode of the two it was, but she said, every pony wins. And so, yeah. She has some problems with mind control.
It is addicting.
Yes.
Slightly.
It's a cheat.
It's an easy out. Things
Yes.
don't go your way, make them go your way.
Mm-hmm. Except doesn't quite work that way. Well, some of that reason that didn't go her way was because she wouldn't make a good programmer.
through.
Let's just say that. She wouldn't make a good programmer. She's inspecific with her instructions. Ponies, hear my voice and listen. her eyes glow white and her horn glows as she triggers the spell. That was kind of
And she does the Royal Canterlot voice.
yeah, which
She really sounded like Luna there.
yeah,
Hence the Royal Canterlot voice.
yeah. I mean, you really see this episode really shows up kind of the foil she is to Twilight because they were very similar towards she's very similar to beginning Twilight, incredibly gifted with magic, but and very similar in a lot of ways, but with a very flawed philosophy. And Twilight is trying to recuperate her philosophy because if she could do that, she could be very good, very powerful. If she could be turned to the light side, yes, she'd be a powerful ally.
Yeah, but the dark side has cookies.
And
Yeah.
pie.
And Punch?
Sure, Punch too.
And Judy.
Yes, but their cookies are stale.
That's what you said. That's
Mhm.
because I ate all the good ones.
Well, then they don't have any cookies anymore.
Sure they do. I never said you could have any.
So, your argument falls kind of flat then.
No,
They have
we
cookies.
have cookies. Just
You can't have
any.
them even if you join us. So, so why would you even mention cookies if you can't have them? That's not a selling point. Anyway, moving on from trying to sell people on the dark side. Alright, so she delegates by dictate instead of convincing logic. Pinky is showing off her speed baking hooves. Just, I am rubber hooves. Oh. Wacky hoof flailing, tube mare. And this is her first mistake with, just the way she ordered them. If she'd been a better programmer, she wouldn't have actually had that many problems. Starlight leaves her with an open-ended order instead of just finish that particular cake. It's like, here, finish this particular cake. Follow the instructions until you get to the end of this cake. And then stop. Boom. No cakes burn. And a lot of the problems that show up later don't happen. Yeah, a lot of her problems come from not being precise with instructions. Then
She would have failed at keep talking and no one explodes.
Yeah, you if you're going to use mind control, you have to be incredibly specific. I figure instead of trying to catch all the Applejack references to movies, as they come out, just group them all together, discuss them all at once, and then move on. So we get, Granny Smith knew she was going to need a bigger boat. So I guess that's Jaws. So Goldie Delicious says, if you can't say anything nice about an opponent, come sit by me. Which, I'm not sure what that's supposed to be a reference to, but I think it's Forrest Gump. I want to say it's Forrest Gump. It could be not. I don't know. And then Big Mac knew if he just covered himself in mud, the creature wouldn't be able to see him. And that's obviously Predator.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yeah, because in Predator, Arnold covers himself in mud because the alien, the Predator, uses thermal to see, and so he covers himself in mud to try and hide.
Ah.
I think that's how it went. It's been a long time. And then
Oh
we
no,
get,
I've never actually watched the whole thing. I got bored halfway through and just like, what else can I watch?
you were rooting for the predator, but you just, he wasn't doing enough, so you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she was just a pony standing in front of another pony, asking him to love her. Notting Hill. It's a rather famous quote.
No idea. I don't do chick flicks.
I haven't watched it either. I know I'd heard that clip, that phrase before. Just a girl standing in front of a boy asking them to love them. And so I did a quick search and I found the scene and the show.
I'm allergic to chick flicks.
Let's see. Then we get. They can take our farm, but they can't take our freedom. Braveheart, obviously. It was the best of apples. It was the worst of apples. I think it's a tale of two cities. And then
That wasn't a. That was a book.
yeah, but yeah, I guess they ran it. They wanted something iconic or something, and that was the. This reeks of spitball. Like somebody was just like the writing, whoever was writing or who was, they were just like, I need some famous movie quotes to shove in here. And they're like, well, that we can change into something kind of something Applejack might say, and so. It was the best of apples. It was the worst of apples. Just kind of went, okay. It's not a movie, but it's good enough. It actually works with her. Then as she's kind of sliding on the table, through the flood, Big Mac told me, with a whole lot of power comes a heck of a lot of responsibility. Which now
Spider-Man.
Applejack is Spider-Mare.
Yeah, but it's kind of perfect when she said that because it is kind of, Starlight.
Yeah, a great. With a whole lot of power comes a heck of a lot of responsibility. Yeah. So now what has she been? She's been compared to. I mean, she has a lot of different superheroes she's usually cast as. Like, sometimes they cast her as Batman for obvious reasons. Sometimes they cast her as Supermare because she's kind of got that attitude. The attitude fits more of a Supermare or Wonder Woman than Batman, but her history screams more of Batman. And now she's Spider-Mare, so she gets a lot of those sorts of things.
Spider-Mare.
Spider-Mare does whatever a Spider-Mare does.
Can she climb on walls? No, she can't, because she's in there.
No, she can't.
I don't know.
She's a horse.
Climb on walls.
But yeah, we get the cup. She goes to check on Pinkie Pie, and a cupcake lands right on her horn, perfectly, kind of pointing out. It's very nice. But by enslaving their minds, she doesn't really interact with them, and kind of misses the point of the exercise, which Spike this episode, he gets to be good Spike. Helpful Spike, sometimes a little snarky Spike, but snarky Spike is good Spike, because he's usually got something pithy and wise to say, because he's really good at pointing out that's kind of silly. Big thing, it's kind of an update from Castle Sweet Castle, because up until this point I don't think we've ever seen her kitchen. And
It's a pretty small kitchen for a castle.
and it also, seeing the kitchen for the first time also made me think of the library, which Rainbow Dash said there's some Daring Do pictures in there, some Daring Do posters. I didn't see any, doesn't mean they don't exist, but it was my first time really looking at it. For that, I didn't see any, but there could have been some. On a wall that we didn't really see well. The fourth wall we were kind of peeking through may have had the monitor just out of shot. But as for rustic decor from Applejack, the table and lampshade in the kitchen are somewhat rustic. You got kind of a classic kind of big lamp light. It doesn't look like it really came from the castle itself necessarily. It's a very nice light fixture, and then you have a nice wooden kind of workspace, kind of island there to table kind of island to work on. So that's, yeah, that is somewhat rustic, though I would have liked to seen a little more, but it was all right. I'll wait for the jet to finish going past. I swear they love to circle my place, you know, while they're, you know, in the mornings when we do this. She managed to stop Pinky and freezes her in position, closing her mouth. It's quite the spell to freeze Pinky.
And Twilight's like, please teach me that.
And it comes complete with a grinding sound as Pinky grinds to a halt. Dash brings storm clouds to put out the fire from the burning cakes. It creates a bigger mess.
Okay, so I get why Dash brought them. I totally understand that.
Uh-huh.
But what was with the other ponies?
What do you mean?
Which
Dash wasn't the only one that brought the storm clouds.
Yes, she was, I thought.
Nope.
No, I thought she did. She was the only one that did. She moves very fast, but I think she was the only one who brought them. No pony else would, because they wouldn't know about the fire. I don't remember seeing any pony else doing it. Maybe you can check yourself, but I don't think that anybody else did. Anyway. It creates a big mess. I wonder if Discord was just outside the shot at all times with some popcorn. Just, yes, quite delicious.
shh, no one's supposed to know about that.
What? The Discord's just out off camera at all times? We're just waiting for some lovely chaos when he's not on screen. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a fly on the wall in there at some point. Lord of Chaos wouldn't miss that sort of fun.
Not on your life.
We get good Spike here reinforcing that she missed the point of the lesson before Twilight even says a word. Showing Spike has his own wisdom from time to time.
Slightly, yeah.
Baking a cake with
He just
Pinky-
wanted the chance to say, I told you so.
Yeah, which makes sense for as young as he is. He's kind of a he's young beyond he's wise beyond his years, but also quite young. So it's this weird kind of thing where sometimes he's sagely and knows, like, yeah, he's sarcastic and knows, yeah, that's stupid, don't do that. And he can see the you know, you pulling the bottom box out of the pyramid of boxes and, like, yeah, you're gonna pull that right down on top of yourself. But other times he doesn't. But at any rate,
At any rate, I sent a screen cap of the episode.
let me look at it and see if it'll. Oh, it got what? Canceled. Wait, no, come on.
I didn't cancel it.
No, maybe I did. I don't know. There it goes.
He doesn't want to see all your smut anymore.
Maybe maybe it was just that there was fire coming, there was smoke coming out, and they saw it. There's that possibility too. Again, I don't
True.
remember seeing them, but whatever. Uh, um, forgot what I was saying. Oh, baking a cake with Pinky freaks her out, except when it didn't. Um, there was a little montage, I think, towards the end of her initial Reformation episode, where she was like, it was a flash of a second, where she was actually baking with Pinky, but you can't expect all the writers to have an encyclopedic knowledge of every episode that's ever been produced for the show.
Yeah, well, no offense. Okay, so what probably happened in that, where it did show her baking that one time is something terrible must have happened, and Pinky scared the crap out of her. Said, no, no more. No more baking with Pinky, bye.
She saw the
That
fourth
makes
wall.
sense.
Pinky showed her the fourth wall, and that freaked her the freak out.
Like, why are none of them wearing pants?
We don't wear pants. Why is that a big deal? To quote Applejack, we don't normally wear clothes.
Like, oh, yeah. Okay.
See, the five of them act a bit hungover, especially Rarity with her headaches and aversion to loud noise and bright lights. She's got all those kind of symptoms. She's got sunglasses on. Stop being so loud. I mean, she even Fluttershy, be quieter, which nobody in the history of Ponykind has ever told Fluttershy to be quiet. I don't think. It would have to be a weird episode for that to happen. She'd have to be completely kind of opposite Fluttershy or something for that to happen.
I do love opposite Fluttershy.
You would, Sassafras. I just love that her dark side, her mean and aggressive side, the worst she can come up with is Sassafras. It's just funny. Pinky, as though, seems relatively unaffected by the mind control hangover, though she's quite upset about burning the cakes.
Not the first time she's been hungover.
She does love to party.
Mm-hmm.
Starlight actually does put in some good apologizing, which is a high-level friendship skill. Though she is also...
Something even Discord hasn't mastered yet.
Yeah. Starlight is also horribly messy with flour and baking. She is just flour everywhere. Pinky is like fine. She has no flour anywhere. She's got her nice cake batter. She's mixing and it's like Starlight's just like looks like she freaking dumped a whole bag of flour on her face. Then we get to she does all the things to, actually do the friendship lessons and figures out, wait, that was it? That wasn't so bad. She'd made it much bigger in her head than it actually was. And, which was, it was nice to see that, she got her lessons in anyway, even though she didn't realize she was doing them. So she got multiple lessons in, which the last one is kind of funny. There's two things about the chillaxing. I know why they did it, but it's still kind of funny if you think about it, kind of out of context, like just without the context of knowing it's a show. Is how you have at the end she has this kind of loop of water, that she makes this kind of fountain, this running fountain of water in the little middle pool, which apparently she has a little, either hot tub or something on top of the roof of the castle for some reason. It's a small enough pool. It's not big enough to be like a full swimming pool, but it's not, it's still a nice deep enough thing. It looks about the size of a hot tub or jacuzzi. So I wonder if she has.
Well, she needs somewhere to hang out when her favorite guard has a vacation.
Okay. At any rate, but if you look at where the way the chairs are aligned, like, so on the left you have Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Okay, then one curve of the water comes up between them, and there's a perfect space where just enough space for the animation of the water running to go through, and then there's Twilight and Starlight, and then there's another gap where the other water comes down, and where the water comes back down, and then you have the rest of the group on the other side. And so you just these perfect gaps where the water is. There's no reason, they're all perfectly spaced otherwise. There's just these two random spaces that just happen to align right where the camera is to not have them behind any of the water. It's good animation, but it's just kind of funny out of context when you think too much about it, which I often do. But now the castle has a nice chillaxing spot on top of the roof. But there's one last thing that I thought was, I understood it, and I was like, yes, I get you, Starlight. I understand you. So how long do we sit quietly? She's an objective, goal-oriented pony. This is my objective. This is what I want to do. I do that. I do what I need to do to complete said objective. And so, when you tell her to relax, to chillax, in this case, it's like, well, how long do I have to chillax for in order to count as chillaxing? You've missed the whole point of chillaxing. It's one of those things you can't goal orient like everything else. You have to just not do things. It's the opposite of the goal oriented. There's no timer. There's no set thing. It's just
gotta chill, dude. Just chill.
Yeah. But at any rate, that's about all I had to say. There was one last thing. There's also no apparent way to get down from the roof. There's no apparent way. It could be on the back side of what we can't see. But there was no door, there were no stairs down. If it's anywhere, it's on the back side of it, but it was kind of funny. There was no ladder leading up there. There was no door leading out to it.
That's why those gaps were there. It's actually kind of like a balcony where the stairs are right behind the railing. You climb over like a fire escape.
Yeah,
You use the fire escape to get onto the roof.
Okay. Yeah, but
and that's why those chairs were gapped that way. There you go.
At any rate, but yeah, that's just another small little thing I noticed. Anybody have anything else to talk about this episode?
No, we spent way too long on this episode. I really wasn't so.
Anybody have anything else to talk about this episode?
Nope.
Sorry. We spent way too long on an episode that I really wasn't interested in.
It was a good. I thought it was a good.
It was
important.
A meh.
It was important in that Starlight had some growth, and they really dealt with one of her major weaknesses. And that was the main reason I thought it was important and why I talked at such length about it. And it had a lot of fun references and things to discuss about it. But that's about all I had. I liked it, but, I'm not everyone. Anything else before we close out this part of the show and move on to whatever we want to do next?
Nope. I'm good and fabulous. And somebody said hello. I'm gonna say hi.
Hello.